the beauty of teaching, if you'll ever know this, you'll know it in your life when you guys run businesses and that, and you run into old people that you worked with and people you help build things with. The beauty of being a teacher is when you see your kids that you had 2 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago do well, and you hear about how they're doing well. And this young lady was my student. We figured out in maybe 78 or 79, someplace in there. And she was in my consulting class where we used to go out and do help small businesses to turn their business around. It was a class called the SBI. And she has now done so very well. But the beauty for an old guy like me is to have somebody here where you can say, wow, look what she's done. So I want you guys to tune in on her tonight, especially you ladies in the class. Because, first of all, women are running the world of business now. All you wimpy guys are doing a lousy job. Women are getting up there almost at 50% equality in the ownership of businesses now. And when I first started teaching this stuff in the 60s, women had something like 3% of the businesses in the world. This lady went off and went into a tough, tough business. She's in the man's world. A woman running a construction business. A woman running a newspaper. 30 years ago when you were my student, that was unheard of. I mean, would you have ever thought you ran two businesses like that? You'd be running them?
No.
Absolutely astounding that today it has changed so much. Women have total equality in the business, in the entrepreneurial world anyway. This is one wonderful lady who doesn't just run businesses, she does magnificent things for the world. What I always like to say, and some of you guys have heard me say this garbage before, is I judge a person's success not by how much wealth they make. She's rich as hell. I rode up here in her car. God, she's rich. I had to go meet her at the kiosk. And like, geez, I'll tell you, I'm going to get in my little Toyota tonight and feel embarrassed, you know? That's not how you judge people. Yeah, it's nice to see somebody get wealthy. You're all going to be wealthy. What I judge them on is, now what do they do with their wealth? What do they do with the power they have from making money, from having influence, from able to do things? This is one lady I'm proud to say is an LMU grad. She is a wonderful role model for LMU. So before she starts, I want to present our little award to her. And I want you guys to all be looking at this award. We're going to put it up here. Jerry's going to guard it because last year somebody knocked it over and busted the whole damn thing apart and I had to have a whole new one made. Were any of you there when that happened? Yeah. God, that was embarrassing. It smashed the whole thing. So Jerry promised he'd hold on to it. But you guys take a look at this. It'd be a nice award to get from your university, and we're very proud to give it to you. So it says the Conrad Hilton Distinguished Entrepreneur Award, celebrating entrepreneurial excellence, exceptional achievement, powerful leadership, presented to Martha Diaz Ashkenazi, LMU, it wasn't MBA, was it?
No.
Okay, well, I'll change that.
I just got an MBA.
Yeah, you did. Oh, put it on your resume. What the hell? BBA, sorry. Yeah. John, will you give her an honorary one?
I just got one, didn't I?
No. John's the former has-been dean. You can authorize this, can't you? Okay, good. We ain't going to change it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Anyway, President, Pueblo Contracting Services Incorporated, co-publisher of the San Fernando Valley Sun newspaper and El Sol. I won't go into all the small print down here, but she's doing all sorts of good stuff. She does all sorts of social good things, helps people, is a strong member of her community. She's been a trustee of LMU. She's
Regent.
A regent. Okay. Well, the regents are the nice guys. The trustees are the tough guys.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
I never took any money from you.
Yeah, trustees are the guys that raise your tuition. Regents are the nice guys. Is that right, John? That's good. Okay. So she just they now, that's like Loyal is becoming corporate LMU. They now term out the regents and all these people that they can only, what is it, 8 years you can only be on or something like that. So she just got kicked off. I think they should have kept her on for 50 more years. But one powerful lady, and I got to tell you, where's, there you are. Okay. Let's have a good picture where I'm shaking your hand and we can, yeah. Not that this was posed. You're catching this accidentally, right?
We're both looking and smiling.
Yes. Yes, good. Tell me when. This is getting tiring. You got it? Okay, good.
Great.
We'll put it over here for you.
Okay.
Have at it, my friend.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, it's been a little while since I've been at LMU, and it's nice to be back. And when Dr. Kiesner, and that's what we used to call him. He tells me to call him Grandpa, but I think Papa probably fits a little bit better for me. We had a lot of fun in the class. And it's been a long time since I've been here as a student. And I was a business and econ major. Really didn't know what I wanted to do. But I knew that at the time, all right, it was the right thing to do. I wanted to make a lot of money because I was tired of being poor. I was here on a scholarship, and when I came to the school, I realized how poor I really was, you know, because everybody else was doing a little bit better than I was. And in my community, we were all the same. But it was here that I kind of saw a little bit of a difference. I got the same education. I got treated very well, but that kind of brought it up. So I thought, I'm going to get out there and make a lot of money. So I made some mistakes along the way, you know, because I had my focus just a little bit wrong, you know, until I found what I really wanted to do. But I learned a lot of things here. I learned not to be afraid. I learned how to take some risk. I learned how to kind of go through the fuzzy clouds that sometimes come up when you're afraid of something that keeps you from doing something. I would do it and just step through and get to the other side, which really helped me out. So what you see up here are 3 businesses that my husband and I own together. A little bit about my family. My husband and I met in high school, San Fernando High School. And we dated for a long time, and we got married after we graduated from LMU in 1983. And since we've had 2 kids, we have a 21-year-old getting ready to graduate. He's at the University of Miami. He's far away. And I have a 7-year-old in 2nd grade. So I kind of start all over again, and people say, why would you do that? I said, because I wanted to. I love children, and I think they're definitely a blessing. And for you ladies, I'll be very candid with you. You can't have it all. You can't do it all. Something's going to give somewhere along the way. And so long as you know that, that's okay. You know, what gave along my way was, you know, maybe having more children, but I have 2 beautiful, wonderful children, and I have a wonderful business. So my husband and I started out together. He actually was a fireman for some time with LA Fire Department, and we started working together. I started in the marble and granite business, and then got tired of not getting paid and having to go to small claims court and pick things up. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to be a general contractor. I'm going to study really hard and get to that level. So we started Pueblo Contracting Services. But that wasn't enough, because there, you know, you're at the mercy of other things as well. Since we started Pueblo, we've worked on many wonderful projects throughout LA. We've worked on about 1 million square feet of buildings in different configurations, whether it was new construction or whether it's rehab. And then we started Ashkenazi Development, which is a real estate development company, and we maintain the properties that we develop, and we do the property management on them. We feel that we need to give the best quality of product in the communities that we serve, which are primarily the underserved areas in the Northeast San Fernando Valley. We work primarily in the city of San Fernando, which I don't know if you all are familiar where that's at, but it is far away, and some people, believe it or not, don't even know that there is the city of San Fernando in the San Fernando Valley. But there we are. We also recently, about I think 10 years ago, purchased a newspaper called the San Fernando Valley Sun and El Sol. What do I know about newspapers? Nothing. My husband was a paper boy, but it was up for sale, and we decided to give it a go, you know, and put our philosophy of how we run businesses into it. And I'll share with you what we've done on that one. 100 years old. It was there, you know, during the water wars in the valley, when the city of San Fernando declared its independence from the city of LA by flying to Spain and finding its water rights. So it was there for the glory days. It was a daily. It was, the Tribune tried to put it out of business, which it then was the Hearst Company, and so on and so forth. And so we bought it, and it was nothing more really than a newsletter, and we turned it into something better. So let me tell you about the demographics in which we, is this on? No. Okay. This is the city of San Fernando. And as you can see, the household income is considered low. The majority of residents are Latinos, and it's a very young demographic. I'd say probably the average age is probably 26, and if you include my age and average it, it's 28 maybe, something like that. But there's a very, very young demographic, and a lot of bilingual people in the community. So you might think they don't have a lot of money, there's no opportunity. We saw opportunity in this community a long time ago, and we started buying real estate, and we started acquiring properties. But we didn't just want to be the kind of landlord that comes and goes and takes advantage of people. We decided we wanted to make a difference. We wanted to bring quality products, quality retailers, to this community and services that we're missing. And so we've been bent on that. And I'm going to show you some of our projects here we go. This was one of our developments that is in the development in the city of San Fernando. The before picture is right here. It used to be a big pizza parlor. This is a little bit in the course of the construction. And what we did is we retained the best architects that we could to give us the best designs, and then brought in services that were missing in the community. You can see at one point Countrywide was here, so during the last meltdown, obviously they're gone. And what was kind of interesting, that at one point there were some very young brokers that were coming in cars much nicer than mine, with designer suits and everything, but they were fly by night. They were taking advantage of people, lying to them, etc. They all went out of business. There's somebody else in there now, because it's a nice property. So we haven't really suffered too much as far as, loss of income. We had a Quiznos. There was a drive-through coffee shop that didn't make it, actually, but it's being reused as we speak. But this was our concept, and we keep it nice. Do we get graffiti? Yeah, we get graffiti sometimes. We've gotten broken into. That happens. But we quickly take care of, any issues that come up on the property so that people always feel safe and welcome. And we've had wonderful festivals here. We had the Dia de los Muertos there one day, where we turned it all into, an area where there was a big bandstand and lots of bands came in. And then we had the altars. I don't know if you're familiar with the altars, but we had them there as well, and food and all kinds of wonderful things. And the community came out and had a great time. It was really a lot of fun. It's very expensive, but a lot of fun. And this is another property that we took. This was what it looked like in 1959. It used to be the El Rey Hotel in the city of San Fernando. Then somebody turned it into this architectural gem that was the Social Security office. Then we decided that the community deserved a little bit better, so we came up with a better concept, a better look. So as you can see, we have a diversity of tenants here. Here is another example. This used to be the thrift store in the city of San Fernando. This is going to be a restaurant here. It's beautiful space. And this we've created on the backside executive offices, because as people in the economy are being blown out, they're coming up or down, they're looking for smaller space. If they're tired of working at home, they want to go somewhere where they're not being bothered, if they're on the way up. If they're on the way down, they want to downsize, and so this is working quite well. So people can come in and out and do as they please. Here is a property in Hollywood, and it's on the corner of Hollywood and Gramercy. This is what it was before. There used to be, some drug dealers in there. We purchased it, and then through creative financing, you have to find some creative financing. We were able to find, ways to make this go. And one of the things that we did here is, you see there's a coffee shop here on the corner, and we didn't know what we wanted to do with it, and we were, building up the tenants. So we painted a sign on the side of the building that said, "Coffee shop coming soon." We didn't have a tenant in mind. We didn't know, but we thought, you know what? It's a concept of build it and they will come. You put it out there and you get it back. Shortly thereafter, we had some people say, we'd like to put a coffee shop in there. And it's been a very, very successful coffee shop. And it was actually at the Smithsonian, because it used to be called Sabor y Cultura. And it was a Latino-themed shop in a very high density area. So it worked really, really well. So we have been able to keep this project at 100%. And we're really very happy that our leasing is so high up. But we also put a lot of money into our properties as well. It's not all just what goes into my pocket and my husband's pocket or anybody else. We have a commitment to making sure that our properties are distinguished from others. This is a property that we built new in the city of San Fernando. It's got 2-story here, and then there's an open courtyard in the back where people can sit, you know, and either entertain their clients or just take a little break or whatever. So maybe you might see a theme coming through. We're trying to create spaces where people can live and work and, you know, feel comfortable. And we've also built some senior housing. I think we are probably the only or the largest owner of affordable housing in the city of San Fernando. So we've been able to create wonderful spaces for seniors. Here is a before and after. Here's what the property looked like here. And this is called La Graciela, which is a 3-story senior housing project. And so we, again, put as much effort into it as possible so it looks the best that it can. And then there was, when you're developing in areas that are underserved, you have to be creative. You don't get, like Barnes & Noble didn't want to come to San Fernando. Starbucks didn't want to come to San Fernando. They all said they don't drink coffee. I guess we don't read books either, I don't know. But there you go. And we said, you know what, we'll find a different way to do it. We'll find a way to get this done. So again, we put our thinking caps on. Said, okay, we can't get a bookstore. You know what, we'll get the county library to move up the street. They were in an area, in a building that looked like a prison. We said, you know, we can do better than that. And we got raked over by the county. They crammed down a really tough deal. They didn't give us everything that we wanted on, you know, on the rent. But we said, okay, but in 5 years, you have to come to market rent, whatever that is. And they said, okay, we'll do that. Okay, now it's better. Now it's very good. And so here, I'll give you some examples of what we do as well. This is called La Casita. It's owned by a couple, and they are the best Mexican food for miles and miles around, and people come there all the time and love the experience. And so we found this restaurateur that was doing well, but it was in a bad spot. And we said, why don't you come over here? We'll build you a really nice space. And you know what? Sometimes these entrepreneurs are good at what they do, but they don't, you were talking about business plan. What business plan? They don't have any money, you know? So we said, okay, we'll do this turnkey for you. So we'll go ahead and we'll get the designer to design your space. We'll build it out, and then we'll just include it in your rent. Is that good? And they said, yeah, that's great. So these were 2 women that owned it. Before we even get open, they said, you know what, we're getting cold feet. We're not sure that we can do this. It's not something that we can do. We said, okay, well, that's kind of a bad time to get cold feet, but all right, we'll see what we can do. Well, the cook and her husband stepped up. They had been saving the money, and they bought the business and the whole lease and everything, and they are doing so well. They really are very happy, you know, where they're at, and people love their food. So we'll take a chance with people. In here, remember I told you Starbucks wouldn't come? There's a coffee shop here called the House of Brews. There's a young couple that owns it. They said, we'll take a chance. We'll take that same deal you gave that other company. So we reached into our pocket and we, you know, outfitted their coffee shop, and they do well. They've put in wireless for the people that come in. They have students there studying after school. We've created some beautiful spots where kids can go and feel safe, where families come and get together for brunch in the morning on Sundays and, you know, just have a really good time. It's active, it's vibrant, it's pretty, you feel safe, you know, and these people are doing well. They were working for others, and now they're entrepreneurs. And, you know, being entrepreneurs 24/7, though, you know, you can't leave that behind, but they have the freedom to do as they please and are doing quite well. And in the corner here, we had a florist that came in. She was one of the oldest, she had one of the oldest companies in the city. So what we did is we did the best we could with what we had in the community. And it's a very good development that is doing quite well. We're also expanding some of our sites. We're going to move into Moore Park on a street called High Street. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Moore Park area. And that'll be coming in a couple of years, maybe 3 years, depending if bankers decide to lend any money to anybody. You know, the banking industry is interesting. They're a pendulum. If you can fog up a mirror, we're giving money to everybody. Now they don't care what your score is or whatever. It's kind of interesting, but we'll work through it. So we get involved in our community, and these are just some pictures of some of the things that we do. This is the library in action that we built. We have some empty storefronts. So When you're an entrepreneur, you sit there and you're the business owner, you think, what can I think? What can I do? So, there's this whole concept about storefront art. I don't know if you have heard about it, where empty storefronts, get art exhibits and people put things up. So we had this there, and I thought, we need some activity, we need to change it, so we can get some different energy going. So we decided to lend our storefronts for the Dia de los Muertos because it's something that happens Day of the Dead. And so we invited some people to come and build some altars. So we came up with an idea, which is, it's called, that says, a través del cristal, Dia de los Muertos, it means through the window, So the exhibit is called Through the Window. And people stopped and looked at the altars. I think it's a really good idea. People are saying, hey, we want to do that again. So we have another idea. We'll lend out the storefront for something else. Okay, I'll share with you. I'm remodeling my house at the moment, and I have a bunch of furniture in storage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up these storefronts here with an email back to the son, so that if they want to buy what's in the window, they can call me. So I figured maybe, you never know. Maybe there's another way to at least a little bit of real estate. So that could be a lot of fun. This is our senior programs here. When we work with the seniors, people come in and entertain them. We are very big on the Relay for Life. Some of this is because it's personal. My mother died of cancer 5 years ago, and so I decided that this is something we all want to do, and we continue to do, and it's a good, wonderful community event, and so we are very happy to be involved. You might see here, beyond the bottom line. What does that mean? That's the concept of not just looking for profits at the end of the day. It's looking beyond that. Because of our ability to do that and our track record, we applied for what is called New Market Tax Credits, which is a very interesting way to do some gap financing. And we applied once before and didn't get an award, and we applied a second time and we did get an award. And so we're very happy to say that we're going to be able to use some of these to do more of this good work. And then there's some bond financing out there that's going to be available as well, and we're going to continue using that as well. So these are some of the companies in the Northeast Valley that we're involved with. Providence Holy Cross is part of Providence Health. I sit on their ministry board. I like being involved because I like to advocate for my community. I speak my mind. They want me on there because they want my honesty, and we work together, and I think it's a fine organization. I just absolutely think they're the best. We're involved with the Boys and Girls Club because kids need to do something after school. The East LA Classic Theater, and Kiwanis, and so on and so forth, Relay for Life, LMU, MAAA, I'm involved in that as well. But this was some of the local things that we do. So we incorporate all this into our business, and our employees are also encouraged to do the same. Our employees one was the chair last year of the Relay for Life for the whole event, and we have another employee who's going to be the chair this year. And anyway, so that concludes that part of it. But when you do things and put it out there for others, it comes back to you. It really does, in one way or the other, whether it's networking or it's whatever you want to do. And I'm a firm believer that God does look out for you, and things happen for a reason. Failure is okay sometimes too. You may not get it right the first time, but try to listen for the signs and try to recover. How you recover, it's good. How you also set yourself up. One of the things that we did is we never became too extravagant in the way that he's teasing about my car, but we never became too extravagant. So we were ready. When the economy went down, we had cash in the bank, and now we see it as an opportunity because we're able to buy properties that were not accessible to us before because they cost too much money. And so now we're able to add some of that. In the next few years, we're going to add another about 200,000 square feet of retail and commercial space to our portfolio. So we're pretty happy about that. We're looking at about another 500 units of affordable senior housing as well. So these are the things that we're teeing ourselves up for, and we're happy about that. I'm going to give you some advice as well. When you go work for somebody, some time back, I had students that were interviewing me, to see if they were going to work for me. They wanted to work 4 days a week, and so many hours, and they needed every weekend off or whatever. And that just didn't work. When you work with somebody or somebody hires you, at the beginning, No matter how good anybody is or you think you are, you're a liability. You know, we lose money on new people because they're always learning something. So it's really important that you give your very best of what you have and that you're a bit humble and that you're there to learn. We've always said, especially with the newspaper, they should pay us because they don't know how to write, and we have to show them how to write. We have some folks that come in that want to be reporters, but they can't work at night or on the weekends. Yeah, I have right now somebody that works for me who would rather be doing logos. I said, you're in the wrong place, even though I'm shooting myself in the foot, but you're in the wrong place, you know? So you have to be happy and, you know, be productive where you're at. A program that we've participated in as well, which is part of the stimulus program, and I don't know if many of you folks know about it, but there are employees out there that you can hire for 1 year for nothing. They get paid all their salary through somebody else, through the county workforce. And what our commitment is, we have to train them. We have to train them to get skills to either be hired by us when it's all over, the year is over, or be hired by somebody else. So we have 2 young women that are in our program. They've been through the GAIN program, which is the Welfare to Work, and they've had some issues in their lives, you know, but we've decided we're going to take them. So today, you know, I learned marketing and sales a long time ago. I can talk to anybody, you know, and get whatever, you know, I need from them. So we decided we were going to go get emails from people at the big parade in the San Fernando Valley for Veterans Day. And the 3 of us were going to go out there with our walking shoes and walk and talk and get email addresses, because you guys know better than anything about the internet, and it's all about getting millions, you know, to make pennies. And so some of us are still learning that. I have a Twitter account, you know, because I thought somebody told me that would be a good thing to do. I try new things. I had, let's see, Nice Butt following me and Vinyl something or other. I realized these weren't people that I wanted to follow me, but anyway, I'm figuring that out as well. But I took these 2 young ladies out there. I told them a little bit about sales. I showed them how I was doing it, approaching people, try to get emails and so on and so forth. And one of them came back, she says, that was great. She says, I've never been to the parade before. She said, and I had a lot of fun. Nobody's ever taught me that before. And I said, you know what? I owe that to you. I need to do that so long as you give back to me. So I feel good about that. I make decisions that are good in general. We all know right from wrong. And if you're going to sleep at night, and you're not going to get wrinkled too soon because, you know, you're living right, you know, you have to do that kind of thing. I want to be as healthy as I can be for as long as I can, which means that I have to be, you know, as good as I can be by giving the best that I have to give in any given situation. So our team is small at our companies that we work. I have not furloughed anybody. I have not cut anybody's pay. I'm not going to do that. We're just doing everything that we can do. My employees have been with me 10 and 15 years. So they've been with us, they've been loyal to me, so I need to be loyal to them. So we continue to do all the right things, and when we do something as a team, we do whatever it takes to get the job done. And that kind of attitude, I think, is what has helped us do well. And nothing is above any of us to get the job done. If we need somebody to jump in and type a memo, they'll do it, even if they are a VP. It's okay. Well, I don't have a secretary. I've never had one. I do it all myself, and I take pride in that. I don't need one. You know, it's easier for me to do it myself. So anyway, those are the kind of things that kept us and keep us lean and mean, and so that we can keep doing the things that we do. So anyway, I've been talking for a long time, and I think maybe you might want to ask me some questions. I'm happy to answer any and all questions that you may have. So why don't we open it up? I find it in both, because I think they're both interconnected. You know, it's a lot of fun to do what I do. Like, for example, I just signed up for the chapel committee, and that's for the hospital at Holy Cross is going to have this chapel, and we want to dedicate it to La Virgen de Guadalupe, which is big in the Hispanic community. And I've met so many great people there. We have so much fun together, and we're doing good things. And so to me, it's both wonderful, and it's great to sit back and say, you know what? I don't come from entrepreneurial background. My family is working class. My dad was a laborer with the union. My mom was a seamstress. My mother-in-law, a bookkeeper. You know, so we didn't come from business people. And You know what really makes me feel good is that I know how to make a dollar. And I can get up and I can be self-sufficient and I can be independent. So, you know, we started with nothing and it feels good, you know, that along the way we did well. I'm not saying that you don't get help along the way. Nobody stands up here and gets there by themselves. I've had plenty of help. I've had plenty of lucky breaks. I'm not going to deny any of that. But it was my vision and my ability to see and take opportunity that I think made the difference. Initially, what we did when we had, you know, a smaller business, we would use our credit cards. You know, we took a second on our house, didn't tell anybody about that, right? Then when we really needed some bigger money, I had to go to Guido. It's called hard money, okay? Hard money, that's the same as Guido. They charge you a lot of interest for it, but you can't get a loan somewhere unless you have a track record. So we decided that that's something we needed to do. We don't do that anymore, we don't have to. We haven't had to in a long time. But it was a little bit difficult. Maybe had to give up a little more profit on the front end than we would have otherwise. But we felt that it was a good way to build our momentum. And right now, I must say, we have sterling credit, and we have great relationships with banks. And the lucky part is that none of my commercial loans come up for refinancing for another 8 years. So hopefully by then, the economy will have recovered. Wow. So that's luck.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. I was a 100% salesperson, selling annuities and mutual funds and whatever else I could sell. I did cold calling, you know, hi, would you like to do some financial planning? You know, can I come over? Click, you know. And it was a tough job, but I did manage to make a living at it, and it was interesting. I hated that job. After a while, I hated it. But I learned so much from it about sales and marketing. Then I wasn't afraid of anything. I said, if I can make money at this lousy job, I can do anything. So it was a good learning experience, you know.
How did you transition from that to starting your own business?
Well, we were lucky enough that we had a house. We were able to buy a house, even with my lousy salary, etc. We bought a house, so we were able to parlay some of that. We took some risk and said, you know, we can take some money out of there, you know. And then when you're doing construction, you know, you get a contract and you get progress payments. So if you're smart about it and you have a good client who's going to pay you, you know, and you build in profits, because you forget sometimes when you're first starting out that you should build a profit in there. Then you can start putting that back in and you can use it again. And then as we evolved, we had lines of credit, et cetera, that we would use to carry us from one draw to the next. It's easy. I've never even considered that a challenge. It's easy because we hire from the community, you know, but we also hire the very best people that we can find. You know, early on, one of the keys to our success was, you know, having a strong controller who has been there since the beginning. She's Filipina. We looked for whomever was the most experienced at that time in construction, and we built that up there. Our project managers are the best that money can buy, our superintendents as well on the construction side, on the finance side as well for the real estate. It just so happens that we do reflect, you know, the community that we're in. We actually hire people from the community as well, so we're kind of green to a certain extent because they don't really have to go very far to get to their jobs. And we've been able to find folks. Bilingual people are really important to us because many of our clients, especially our seniors, don't speak English as well and prefer to deal in Spanish. So that's very important. And I think if you're going to really tap the market, you need to know some Spanish as well. Sure, there's some, if you mean like national tenants.
Right.
Yeah, some people aren't going to come. You know, they just won't come. They'll tell you, like we've been trying to get a Trader Joe's into the neighborhood. Everybody, you know, goes a few miles down the road to try to get to Trader Joe's in. It's impossible. They just don't want to come, you know, because they don't see it. But there's a lot of pent-up demand, and we see that, you know, they will spend money on food, you know, and the businesses that we have are doing well. You know, they have seen, you know, a little slight downturn, but, you know, we've been in this community, we've been without for so long that, you know, it's not too different. So, you know, it helped us out. Well, the only company we bought was the Sun. And I don't think, I mean, that guy wanted to get rid of that so fast, that hot potato. It was like, there was nothing, nobody else wanted it. So we took it. I'll tell you though, there is a bit of a conflict there sometimes because, you know, they say, here you are, a real estate developer, and you own the local newspaper. But the local newspaper is run by an editor. Again, remember my philosophy, I like to hire the best that I can find. She happens to be an award-winning news person who feels that the community route is the right way to go, and she wants to fill her seat. She wants to make sure somebody's there when she's gone. And I gotta tell you something, she would not work for me if I ever crossed the line and said, you can do this and you can't do that. Because we take, you know, the freedom of the press extremely seriously. We feel it's a mission to be in the newspaper business. Imagine, people don't like you all the time, you know? No matter what you write, you know, on one because, oh, you guys are all liberals because you wrote about that. Oh, you guys are all, you know, conservatives and we hate you, you know, because you're on this other side. So we figure if we get equal hate from both sides, we're doing a good job. You know, so my editor has no friends. She can't have any. You know, so it's a tough business, but we know that if we ever cross the line there, we wouldn't have a business there. And I don't know, maybe you can be more specific about maybe perhaps other challenges.
Well, I was mostly kind of looking at how you kind of reconcile some like I mean, there are a lot of unethical business practices out there, and how you as a company, you know, stay true to being like ethical in an environment that's not so ethical. Like, how are you making sure that you're not hurting more people than you're helping, I guess?
Okay, that's a fair question. I've always felt that, you know, I need to make $1 and you need to get something back for this to work, okay? I believe in win-win situation. You know, that's what I believe in. And so long as I'm always looking at that, if I take from you for me to have more, then that's wrong. I've crossed the line. So, for example, we don't have any liquor stores that we, you know, lease space to. It's something that we just won't do. We had a really hard time leasing some space to, and this is a personal thing, but you know, to the military. We weren't sure we wanted to do that. We had to really think long and hard about that, because in a community like San Fernando, a lot of Latino kids end up in the military. There are actually recruiters on campus, and I don't know if there were any at the schools you all attended, but there are some, and we're not sure that that's quite right. So we had to think long and hard about that. So we've turned away, you know, tenants that want to be in our spaces at the expense of losing rent because we didn't think they were right for our community. So we're patiently waiting, you know, for the right folks to come along. And like I said, when you don't have to, I don't have to answer to a corporate board somewhere, you know, who's saying, you know, hard money, where's my return, you know, maximize it, you know, so long as we're making money, you know, and everybody's getting their salaries and we can upkeep everything, that's good enough. That's plenty, and we're fine. So I hope that came a little closer. You know, that the problems in communities like San Fernando, Pacoima, Sylmar, and the Northeast Valley are so ingrained. It's difficult to overcome some things. For example, the schools in the Northeast Valley are not very good. You know, we've been writing about, you know, the middle school that, you know, can't get their scores up. So when we lose the kids, you know, and one of the teachers says, you know, they tune out in the 4th grade, you know, and then they drop out physically in the 7th, we have an abysmal graduation rate. So illiteracy is everywhere. I sit on the board of Project Grad, and we're trying to figure out how do we get more kids to graduate and go to college, you know, because I think that's really the key, you know, to changing things around, because you can increase the income that folks get. So in the meantime, what we try to do is give spaces that are beautiful that say, you know what, you deserve this. You know, you need this. I'm only one person and only a few little companies here, and it's a big thing to turn around, you know, what's intrinsic in these communities. But we're trying.
You plant the seed.
Right. So we're trying to do that. And like I said, we hire from the community as well. And we're not afraid to, you know, take a chance. And you know, we catch kids graffitiing our stuff all the time, which, you know, is such a waste of money. We could put that money back in to do something else. But, you know, if they don't have after-school programs and they don't have, you know, opportunity, or they feel there's nothing left for them, what are they going to do? you know, but it's not to say that San Fernando's not safe, because it is. I walk there, I'm there, I feel very comfortable in the community, you know, and there's some wonderful people in the community that do care, but there are some rough spots along the way as well. There was a point, you know, because, you know, at some point I thought it was all about me. You know, I need to come to that win-win situation. You know, if I gave my best to somebody and looked out for them as well, you know, then that was a better way to go. But I didn't get that at first. You know, I was out to set the world on fire. You know, I wanted to buy a Porsche. Oh, I wanted a Porsche. That was my thing. I want to ride around.
A better car now.
No, but I wanted one of those low things to the ground. You know, that's what I wanted. And for a long time, that's what I wanted. I never got it. I decided at some point it didn't want it, didn't need it anymore. You know, tenants are an interesting group when you're negotiating with them. I mean, they don't care what they hear, how good it is. They want the best deal that they can get. And I got to tell you, in some of the renewals that we've had, you know, there was a little bit of, oh, the economy, oh, this and that. So, you know, we had to make a few little deals here and there. You're never going to get the total straight shocks. You have to remember, when you're negotiating, they're negotiating hard, and so are we. But they do appreciate the fact that, you know, we give them good places to be, and that we try to, as a matter of fact, we have breakfasts. Our Chamber of Commerce really isn't very active. So we've had breakfasts and like receptions in the evenings at different properties, and we bring business people together to network. And we bring speakers. We find speakers here and there. There's always somebody good willing to come and speak, and it really does help, you know. One of the things that we did, because you're always going to have some vacant space, we created a gallery. There was no art gallery in the city of San Fernando, and nobody was going to come out. So we had a teacher who retired from LAUSD, an art teacher, and she was good enough to say, I'll run the gallery. And we said, all right, we'll give you the free space. We won't charge you anything. And so the name of the gallery is La Galería Gitana, which is the gypsy gallery, because she's prepared to move if she needs to another space. And we've had some beautiful exhibits. You can go online onto ashkenazi.com, and you can see, you know, there's a video there, which didn't work here. I wanted to bring it, but it didn't work. And you can see it's online. And it's a great concept. People come there and have receptions. People from all over the valley, outside of our area, come in and they go, wow, we didn't know that San Fernando was okay. This is really nice. So, and it's created a good buzz, and we like that. We think art has changed the world. Back to your question. Art has changed the world. I like to be as close to them as I can. So, you know, they come, they exhibit, and it's just great. I think that in education is key. In business, you know, was very good here. You know, it gave me a very strong foundation. You know, one of the things that I insist on is doing things contractually right. You know, contracts are the key to everything that we do. I don't do anything by a handshake, and nobody should ever take that personally. And I'm a tough negotiator when we're there, because I'm here to protect my company. That's my first goal, is to make sure that we do that. I learned about contracts in Contracts 101, I think, you know, that was the beginning of it. I do hire attorneys, you know, to review and actually make the contracts, but I know so much about that stuff myself. I can read it, and then they just wordsmith it or whatever. So it's been very, very good. One of my tougher subjects, I'm embarrassed to admit, was accounting. I don't know what it was about that DR and that CR, you know, and anyway, I guess maybe I didn't see, you know, the relevance to me. But having that is also very important, because you know where the money's coming and going. You can do projections, etc. You know, and knowing a little bit about marketing, what it takes to get out there and do things, and then the world economics. You know, you kind of say what might or might not work. You know, you kind of take a look around and look at the signs, and you know, go from there. So I think it is important. Too bad I didn't get that MBA, you know? I mean,
you got it, baby. I mean, anybody calls and asks me, I'll swear to it.
But you know what? That would have been good too, to get an MBA, but I just didn't have time. You know, I got into work, and I think that's part of it. You start building, and you don't take the time out to go back and do it. And now, you know, I think I have to wait till my little one graduates or something, and then I'll come back and, you know, sit in the room maybe in the back of his class and, you know, ask crazy questions. I'm my best advertising, to a certain extent. So I'm involved in a lot of things in my community. So it's not like I'm out of the office not doing something. I'm actually representing, you know, the flag, so to speak. So I belong to the best organization in the San Fernando Valley called the Economic Alliance. That's where the power base of the San Fernando Valley converges, and I'm on the management committee. I am their secretary. And so it has been a great place for me to be and learn and network and be with people. You know, it's been an awesome opportunity. At LMU Ma, for example, one of my tenants came through one of my fellow, you know, members. We were talking about things. It was really funny. His family was from the same little town as my dad's family, and anyway, so we call each other cousins, primo in Spanish, you know. He was able to connect me with FAMSA, which was Mexico's leading furniture store at the time, and I think still is. We got their flagship. We have the very first one that ever came to the United States, mixing business with pleasure, you know, raising funds for scholarships for Latino kids here at LMU, and then doing a little business on the side. Wasn't that kind of nice, right? So there are other folks there as well. We get together to do good things, you know. So at Providence, I've gotten to meet wonderful people in the medical field. I think that's a great thing. They have my picture at Holy Cross Hospital. I think they have 46,000 admissions a year. It's, you know, that's a lot. We have a trauma center, you know, we're second to none. We're a nurse magnet, you know that means something, right? My picture's in the hallway. I went to the panaderia, which is a bread store, bakery, and the lady said, you work for Holy Cross, right? He says, I saw your picture up there. And I said, well, you know, I'm a board member, I really don't work. Oh, we love the hospital. And I said, well, if you ever don't like anything, just let me know. So it's kind of good to be involved to that extent, you know, and making sure that we have that. So a lot of these things have happened. We do some advertising as well. We have to, you know, through like LoopNet or whatever for real estate, you know, and we do some through our newspaper as well. And we also have some young folks that we've hired and we brought on who know Twitter way better than I do, who can Facebook and do all kinds of things. And we have fun watching them do their thing as well, because they add to that whole, you know, connection. So that's kind of how we promote ourselves. We don't just put ads out there, we put ourselves out there as well. Probably, you know, you need to be open to a lot of opportunity and a lot of ideas. You know, my son is in the same predicament as many people. He's going to be graduating in May, and believe it or not, my husband doesn't want him to work for us. So, nice dad, huh? No, but anyway, we think it would be horrible working for us, I think. But anyway, I would say go find a job, you know. Any kind of sort of good job is okay. Go get some experience, you know, and give the best that you can of yourself. If you need to intern, you know, because then you can get in with a company that you like. Don't ask them to pay you if you can afford it. If you can't, you know, well then, you know, you need to find a way to make some money as well. But we had a kid in the neighborhood that wrote to us that said, we like the things you're doing in this community. It's wonderful. He was at Woodbury, an architectural student, and he needed to do an internship. We brought him in. We thought maybe he was a little strange because, you know, he wrote to us, and you gotta know there's the bad side of things too. When you have a lot of property in a community, they say you have too much. You think you rule the world here, you know? We don't think so, but you know, that's been a critique. So we thought, okay, let's take it with a grain of salt. So he's the nicest guy. He came in, did his 100 hours, and we've hired him part-time to work for us. You know, worked out, and we think he's the best. And when, you know, more projects come on board, we'll look to him as well. So get yourself some experience somewhere, you know. And I have to tell you, communication is so important, you know, and we all underestimate it. I don't know why. You know, we think because we speak English well, that we're communicating. We often don't. You know, there's been so many, you know, things that fall through the cracks. If you don't understand something, ask and get it clear, you know, so that you understand what they want you to do, and then go over and above. So if I give you any advice, get your foot in the door and become indispensable. Whatever it takes. Well, you know what, yeah, sometimes they'd look at me like, what do you know, little miss? You know, are you here, you know, are you the secretary or something, you know? And construction guys could be pretty brutal, actually.
I got a feeling she can handle these construction guys.
But after a while, you know, I don't know, it just comes. You carry yourself in a certain way, you know, where I don't even think of being woman or man or anything like that. I can talk to anybody at any time, you know, and feel that so long as, you know, we're talking about the same things, you know, if we were talking about, you know, something I don't know about, I would probably feel a little bit awkward about it. But, you know, you might feel it. But, you know, one of the things that you do is, you know, you dress professionally, you know, if I can just share some of that. And you know, be the best that you can be. Sometimes you have to be better than everybody else. Be really prepared, you know. But I think it's getting a lot better. I really do. I don't think it's like it used to be. You know, I think women in construction, that's no big deal really anymore. You know, when I was coming up, it was a big deal. And I used that. I said, fine, if you think it's a big deal, here I am. You know, so it's whatever works for you. But I think you'll find the world's more welcoming than it was before.
Okay, a couple of last comments. I have a terrible memory in my old age. All of my old students I remember as A students. She's an A+ student, let me tell you.
I probably was a C.
Huh?
I said I probably was a C student.
I don't remember what the hell you. Give her a hand. I'm so damn proud of her.